So, Peter, can you tell me a little bit about what Circle does that's related to the election?
Definitely. We're probably best known for actually generating the youth turnout number. So when people say, what was the turnout of young people in the election, they actually are using our number. That gets us quite a lot of attention. But we try to look more deeply at what causes young people to be involved, and in which young people are involved and which ones are left out, because a lot of them are left out.
Okay, great. So can you tell me a little bit about those voters that are often left out when those numbers are reported?
Well, especially it's those many young people, it's about half of the population that doesn't go to college. They're really pretty much left out. I hope that their turnout will be better than we expect, but in the primaries, virtually none of them voted, actually. And we tend to forget about the non-college when we talk about youth.
Can you tell me a little bit more about the project that you're doing with Circle about those non-college voters?
Yeah, and this is a slow project, so it's not really ready in time for the election, but we're actually trying to talk to young people who don't go to college, probably about 400 of them or so across the country. And the first ones that we just completed in Baltimore was interesting because really those young people were definitely not going to vote and really hadn't been touched by the campaign at all.
Mm-hmm. So what was that focus group like? What did you talk about, and what were those students not what were those non-students thinking, young people?
Well, they do engage in really powerful ways, but they don't have anything to do with formal politics. So when you first ask them, do you do anything we don't use the word civic engagement because that's jargon, but do you do anything to make a difference? Are you active in any way? They basically say no. But then it turns out that, for example, one fairly young woman who had been very much affected by drugs in her family had rescued another woman younger than her from the drug culture and had brought her into her house where she was actually living. So to me, that's actually more powerful than most of what college students do, frankly, but it's very completely disengaged from the political system. Mm-hmm. And when they were asked about voting, most of them, I think, had not even considered it, but some of them said they wouldn't do it because you could become subject to jury duty or other kinds of issues like that.
So can you tell me a little bit about what it's like on election night when people are calling you for those numbers?
Well, we rush to try to get a youth voting turnout estimate as fast as we can. And part of the reason is because we're trying to head off misinformation. And in 2004, the Associated Press, which reaches thousands of newspapers, actually misreported the youth turnout story. They got it flatly wrong. And it was kind of a disaster because everybody had been working hard on youth voting and all these college students were pumped from having just voted, and they saw the news that young voters hadn't turned out, which was false. So we do our best to get the story out, and we're going to be as proactive as possible. And I think we'll probably get a lot of media.
Great. Is there anything else about Circle or the elections or that project that you mentioned that you would like to tell us, like to tell the viewers on Campus Voices?
Well, no, go out and vote, and we're looking forward to finding out whether you did, because we're counting heads, and I think it's going to be a great year, actually, for youth turnout, at least for college students.
Okay, great.